The document's been open 2 hours. The cursor blinks. And somehow you're deep cleaning a drawer you've ignored since March. You're not tired. You know exactly what needs doing. And you're doing everything else instead. There's a reason for that. And it isn't the one you've been told your whole life. And the thing keeping you in that drawer? It was never the task. You know this one in your body. That low hum of dread when you glance at the thing. Your hand reaches for your phone before you've decided anything. 10 minutes gone. Then 20. And the whole time there's a quiet voice narrating what a mess you are. Be honest. You've been here this week, haven't you? So you call it laziness. It's the easiest word. It's what a teacher said once, or a parent, or the version of you that's tired of your own excuses. Lazy is simple. Lazy explains the whole mess in one syllable. The trouble is, lazy doesn't survive one obvious question. If you were lazy, you'd be resting. You'd feel fine. But you're not resting. You're scrubbing a drawer, reorganizing a folder, answering a Slack message that could have waited until Monday. That's work. It's just not the work. Lazy people don't feel this awful. You do. That's the crack in the story. Here's where researchers who study procrastination have been moving for years now. It isn't really a time management problem. It looks like one, so we treat it like one. New planner, new app, better system. But for many people it behaves far more like an emotion problem wearing a scheduling costume. You're not avoiding the task. You're avoiding a feeling the task hands you. Open the file and something uncomfortable arrives, and your body does what bodies do with discomfort. It moves away. The drawer was never a distraction. It's an exit. And it's rarely just one feeling. Sometimes it's fear, that you'll try properly and find out you weren't good enough. Sometimes it's boredom so heavy it feels physical. Sometimes it's resentment at a task you never chose. Sometimes it's plain confusion. You don't know the first step, and not knowing is its own small humiliation. But fear is the one that shows up most, and it's the sneakiest, because it never announces itself. It doesn't say, "I'm scared." It says later. It says, "You work better under pressure." It says you should research this a bit more first. Fear doesn't argue with you. It negotiates. What happens next is almost mechanical. You step away and you feel better, instantly. That relief is real, and it's the entire problem. Because something in you just learned a lesson. Avoid, and the bad feeling stops. It worked. And anything that works gets repeated. Researchers sometimes describe this as giving in to feel good. You trade tomorrow's calm for 10 minutes of calm right now. It isn't a character flaw. Your mind is doing what it's built to do. End discomfort fast. It just can't tell the difference between a bear in the room and a spreadsheet on the screen. There's a second piece, and it's stranger. Future you doesn't quite feel like you. Some researchers who study how we imagine our future selves suggest it can land closer to picturing an acquaintance than picturing yourself. That's still argued over, and I won't oversell it, but the feeling is familiar. Handing work to that person barely registers as a cost. You're not sabotaging yourself. You're delegating to a stranger. That's why I'll start Monday feel so good at 9 p.m. on a Sunday, standing at the fridge, not even hungry. Monday, you is fictional. Monday, you has energy, a clear calendar, no dread. Then Monday actually arrives at 8 a.m., and it's just you, again. Same chair, same coffee going cold, Same feeling waiting exactly where you left it. Now here's the trap. After you avoid, the shame lands. And shame is a feeling too. So the file on your desktop now carries the original dread, plus the memory of failing it. Same file, heavier every day you walk past it. Tomorrow you avoid a little harder. That isn't weakness, that's arithmetic. Which is why discipline advice bounces off you. Try harder assumes the problem is effort. But you've already tried hard. You've bought the planner, downloaded the app, watched the 5 a.m. routine video on the couch at midnight. You can't out-discipline a feeling you refuse to look at. You can only outrun it, and you're already out of breath. So here's the turn. Procrastination isn't a hole in your character. It's a strategy, an old, clumsy, weirdly loyal one. Some part of you concluded that feeling bad was dangerous, and it built an exit. It's been running that program ever since, badly, on your behalf. It was never trying to ruin your life. It was trying to spare you an afternoon. And that part of you deserves something better than contempt. It learned this somewhere, maybe in a house where mistakes cost too much, maybe in a classroom where being wrong happened out loud. It isn't stupid. It's outdated. And if this dread has been heavy for months, or it's spreading into everything, a good therapist genuinely helps. That's strength, not weakness. Let's be fair, though, because not every delay is procrastination. Sometimes waiting is wisdom. The idea isn't ready, the information isn't in, or you're exhausted and your body is telling the truth. The tell is simple. Wise waiting feels like clarity. Procrastination feels like relief, followed by dread. One settles, the other stings. So what actually helps? Start with the least impressive thing on the list. Sit down at the desk, and, before you open the file, say the feeling out loud to an empty kitchen. I'm avoiding this because I'm scared it'll be bad. That's it. It sounds far too small to matter. But an unnamed feeling runs you from behind. A named one has to sit in the chair across from you. Second, and this one surprises people. Forgive yourself for last time. There's some evidence pointing this way. People who forgave themselves for procrastinating tended to put things off a little less the next round. It's a modest finding, not a law, so hold it loosely. But it fits what you already suspect. Shame was the fuel. Cut the fuel and the loop starves. Third, make the first step embarrassingly small. Not the task, the doorway. Open the document and write one bad sentence. Answer one email. 2 minutes. You're not trying to finish anything. You're showing your nervous system that the room is safe. Do that enough times, and the dread stops guarding the door. And here's the part I promised. The thing keeping this loop alive was never the task. It was the story that you're the kind of person who can't. Every avoided afternoon felt like more evidence. But it was never evidence. It was a scared strategy, doing the only job it knew. And a strategy, unlike a character flaw, can be changed. So the next time you catch yourself deep in a drawer you didn't care about this morning, try not to reach for the word lazy. Ask the better question instead. What feeling is this task handing me? You don't have to fix it tonight. Noticing it is already the part that starts loosening its grip. Raremind posts one of these a week if you want the company.